So, picture this. I'm standing in line at my favorite little cafe, one of those spots where the baristas know your name, or at least pretend to, when I realize I don't have my wallet. Like, at all. I mean, I usually keep it tucked safely in my back pocket, but now? Nothing. Zip. Nada. I'm next up at the counter, coffee already ordered. My usual no surprises and panic kind of bubbles up, that sick feeling where your brain flips through every possible scenario, none of which end well. I pat down every pocket again, slower now because, well, it's that moment when you hope that somehow the thing you lost is just playing hide and seek with you. Jamie, the barista, who's probably seen me more jittery over a spilled cup than a missing wallet, flashes me this grin like, "Interesting Tuesday, huh?" But I can't even look at her properly. My eyes are darting around the cafe like an overcaffeinated squirrel. And then out of nowhere, a guy walks right up holding up something that makes my heart almost stop. Yep, it's definitely my wallet. Worn leather, a sticker peeling off one corner that I swear has been there since college, and the unmistakable bulge where I stuff all my ridiculously crumpled receipts and random membership cards. He doesn't say anything at first, just holds it there like a kid who found a rare prize on the playground. And I'm standing there, frozen, thinking, should I be relieved or start sizing up the nearest exit? Because, I mean, who just finds a wallet and walks up to you? Is that a real thing in this city? Or am I about to get played in some way I haven't even imagined yet? The whole cafe sort of pauses with me, well, maybe just in my head, but Jamie's smirk now turns into this half-trying not to laugh expression, and the guy's looking expectant, like maybe he's about to give me a quiz or ask for some secret password. So there I am, wallet in sight, but trust nowhere near found, wondering what the heck I'm supposed to do next. Mornings for me are like those chaotic TV montages where everything's happening at once, but you blink and somehow it's still not exactly ready. Coffee stalked, keys hunted down like buried treasure, shoes who mysteriously decide one wants to be on the wrong foot classic. That wallet? It's practically my lifeline amidst the madness. It's got my ID, my trusty transit card, the ever-important emergency granola bar coupon, that kind of thing. Losing it felt like losing not just money or cards, but my little peace of mind in the swirl of urban hustle. Now, where I live, the neighborhood has this, let's call it an ambiguous reputation. It's one of those places where you greet strangers with a wary smile or a nod that silently says, "I'm paying attention." There's kindness tucked between the cracks, sure, but alongside that, the usual city mix of the occasional petty crime or someone trying to hustle their way through the day. It's a place full of contradictions, much like my mornings. Just as likely to find a dog walker chatting with a local street musician as you are to hear someone shout when a bike skids on wet pavement. Jamie, the barista, is a character who embodies that spirit perfectly. She's got this way of being nosy, but like charming nosy, not weird nosy. You know, the kind who watches everything and has about 50 thoughts running behind those sharp eyes, but lets the comments roll off her tongue like they're part of the daily special. When she caught me flashing around like a panicked squirrel chasing its own tail, she gave me this eyebrow raise that was half amusement, half, "This again?" Jamie's smirk was like an unspoken challenge. "Let's see how you dig yourself out of this one." But here's the kicker. That wallet wasn't just some random accessory. Losing it was going to mess me up beyond just the usual shuffle of replacing cards and scrambling for cash. I had tickets for a client meeting later. Very important, very don't screw this up kind of vibe, and everything I needed was tangled inside that beat-up leather. If the day wasn't already complicated, this was just the cherry on top of a slightly burnt cake. So there I was, stuck in that weird spot between disbelief and cautious hope, with Jamie watching from behind the counter as though she was waiting for me to either collapse into dramatic despair or pull off some sort of miracle. Meanwhile, the guy holding my wallet was standing there like a riddle waiting to be solved. And honestly, I couldn't decide if I should be grateful or suspicious. With every second that ticked by, the chaotic charm of the neighborhood seemed to lean a little more into the unknown. What happens next was still a mystery, but something about the whole scene felt like it was setting the stage for a week that was about to go way off script. The guy, let's call him Marcus because, well, that's what he said his name was, finally broke his silent offer, "Hold on the wallet." His voice was calm, steady, but there was a glint in his eyes that said he enjoyed a bit of drama. "I found this," he said, "but I'm gonna need a favor in return." I blinked, probably a bit harder than necessary because, seriously, a favor? For my own wallet? I mean, it's the kind of setup you expect in movies, not on an annoyingly humid Tuesday morning while standing in a cafe queue. Jamie, who had been leaning on the counter, clearly intrigued but pretending not to be, threw a glance my way like, "You're in this now." She smirked and muttered loud enough for me to catch. "Classic conditional wallet return, eh? Remind me to never borrow money from you." Marcus held the wallet out again, like a prize at a carnival game. "Look, I'm not asking for much, just a little help with something and the wallet's yours." I narrowed my eyes. "And what exactly is this something?" He shifted, suddenly rather serious. I need you to deliver a package, just a small envelope, no strings attached, simple drop-off at a nearby address. Cue my internal alarm bells. Uh-huh, and why exactly are you putting this on me? You couldn't just turn it into a lost and found? Marcus shrugged, that casual don't look at me shrug that somehow sets your gut on edge. It's complicated. Let's just say I don't want my name on this. I stared for a moment, weighing my options. Wallet returned, or wallet returned with a mini mystery attached. Poorly, just my luck. Jamie, meanwhile, was busily wiping a mug, but I caught the way her eyebrows shot up. Some combination of, "Are you really about to do this?" and "This should be good." Fumbling with my own internal dialogue, I finally said, "Okay, what's in the envelope? And why me?" Marcus leaned in a little, voice dropping like he was about to reveal some grand secret. "Just some papers. Nothing illegal, truly. And you're the perfect candidate because, well, you're low-key and blend in. Besides, you owe me one." "Owe you one?" I balked. "I didn't ask for anything here, you just showed up with my wallet like some kind of urban Robin Hood." Jamie snorted softly from behind the counter, tossing a whispered, "Yeah, more like Robin's sketchy cousin." Marcus chuckled, shaking his head in a way that suggested he was used to this kind of skepticism. Then, with what I swear was the most sincere face I've seen that morning, he granted permission to peek inside the wallet. "Go ahead," he said. "See for yourself that I'm legit." I opened the wallet because what else was I gonna do, right? And that's when things got interesting. Alongside the usual mess of receipts and cards, tucked underneath my driver's license, I spotted a small folded note. It wasn't something I recognized having put there. The handwriting was neat and unfamiliar, and the words, "Trust no one," scribbled hastily, triggered a fresh wave of confusion. "What's this?" I muttered, holding it up. Marcus's face tightened for a split second before he answered, "That's part of the story. Look, I'm not going to drag you through everything, but no one said this would be simple." He glanced around, lowering his voice. "This might be bigger than just your wallet." Jamie, never one to stay quiet, called out from behind the counter, "Drama's on the house today, folks." Free with every espresso. I laughed nervously, heart racing between suspicion and curiosity. So, yeah. I was now holding a wallet that came with a cryptic message, a stranger demanding a favor in exchange, and Jamie's sardonic commentary weighing on my shoulder like an amused but skeptical sidekick. But it wasn't just that. As I rifled through the wallet more carefully, because you never know what little surprises life tosses in there, I found something else, a faded photo tucked into the corner that I couldn't immediately place. Two men shaking hands, smiling like they'd just sealed some secret deal. One of them was definitely me, or at least a younger version of me, but the other guy had that same intense look Marcus wore now. It was weirdly unsettling. "So, I stammered, looking back up at Marcus, "what exactly am I getting into here?" He grinned, all mysterious again. "Let's just say, you're about to find out the neighborhood isn't the only thing full of surprises today. And that little favor? It's the start of your detour for the day." Jamie leaned over the counter one last time before stepping away, whispering, "Good luck, ma'am. If this is your mess now, you're gonna need it." With that, my mind was spinning as I slid the wallet back into my pocket, clutching the enigmatic note and the photo like a ticket to some unexpected, unwelcome adventure. I wanted to say no, to just walk away and pretend this morning had been some weird dream. But deep down, the mystery tugged at me like something about trust and kindness and all those messy human things had just been thrown into a blender, and I was stuck holding the cup. So I took a deep breath and asked, "Okay, where do we start?" The thing about favors like the one Marcus asked for is that you never really know where they're going to take you until you're already on the ride. I tucked the wallet back into my pocket, the weight of it, a strange comfort amid all the confusion. Marcus handed me the small, inconspicuous envelope, light, but somehow heavier than it looked. "Just drop it off," he said again, almost like he thought I'd forget. "No questions, no follow-ups." Which, of course, was impossible for me. The address was only a few blocks away, which gave me enough time to stew over what exactly I'd gotten myself into. Jamie, ever the keen observer, leaned on the counter as I left, calling after me, "Try not to end up in a Netflix documentary, yeah?" As I stepped outside, the city's usual noise hummed around me, but my mind was spinning faster than the bus that screeched past. I glanced at the note again, "Trust no one," and then at the photo, the younger me looking strangely out of place next to Marcus. I still didn't know if the guy was some sort of secret hero, a con man, or something in between. But curiosity is a tricky thing. It claws at you until you at least see the story to the end. Walking felt different this time, like the neighborhood was wearing new clothes, familiar but oddly foreign. I passed a corner lot where the dog walker from the morning was now chatting animatedly with the street musician, their laughter floating across the morning chill. It struck me that maybe kindness and suspicion were just two sides of the same coin in this place, flipping back and forth depending on who was holding it. Finally, I found the building, a faded brick facade with peeling paint, nothing that screamed secrets or conspiracies. I hesitated at the door, fingertips brushing the envelope like it might bite, and then pushed inside. The place was a small community center, bustling quietly with people sorting through donated clothes and canned goods. I caught a glance from a woman at the desk who gave me a quick nod, teeth showing in an easy smile that felt like an unspoken welcome. I was about to hand over the envelope when Marcus's words echoed in my mind, no questions. But the curiosity shoved me forward. I stayed, watching a little as volunteers buzzed around, giving their time and energy without expecting much in return. The atmosphere was warm, chaotic, and kind of beautiful. Then a man stepped out from the back, somewhat resembling Marcus but older and with eyes that held a quiet steadiness. He took the envelope with a nod and said simply, "Thank you." Right then, something clicked. Marcus's favor wasn't about some shady deal or urban hustle. It was about trust, about small acts that don't make headlines but stitch the community together bit by bit. I stepped outside, feeling the wallet heavier with meaning in my pocket. I'd come in expecting a scam or a setup, and instead found a thread of kindness woven through the chaos of this city block. When I got back to the cafe, Jamie was still wiping down the counter, her smirk waiting for me again. Survived the mystery favor? More than that, I said, sliding the wallet across to her with an earnest, "Thanks for the spectator commentary, by the way." She laughed, eyes twinkling. "Told you, sometimes the messiest mornings bring the best stories." I nodded, thinking about how ironic it was that losing something as small as a wallet ended up reminding me to trust a little more. Maybe Marcus wasn't a hero in the usual sense, but he was something else entirely, a reminder that even in a neighborhood as tangled as ours, kindness still found a way to show up, unexpected and unpolished. As I left the cafe, I caught sight of Marcus watching from across the street, a quick smile flickering on his lips before he vanished into the city's ebb and flow. I couldn't decide if he was a hero, a trickster, or just a guy trying to make a day a little better. And honestly, I wasn't sure I cared. Because sometimes the stories that change us come wrapped in worn leather wallets, strange favors, and the quiet hope that, maybe, trust isn't as lost as it feels.